Controlling Organization by Brunt. This presentation focuses on controlling organizations. We will discuss strategies, goals of first students, old standards performances, establish new standards of performance, measure accurate performance, compare performance to standards, take corrective action if needed, budgetary control, and finance. Introduction. In 2011, First Student Transportation was awarded the contract to USD 259. With this task ahead of them, the company had to train 600 school bus drivers for the following year. New policies and procedures must be implemented before the new year begins. Controlling the organization, new employees was a massive task of instructional influence. Not every driver understood the new policies or procedures, and the company was under pressure from the school district, which awarded them the contract. Training was completed, current drivers returned, new drivers were hired. The school district was astonished that the school routes would have drivers for August 5th, 2011. This was the start of the new school year. By September 2011, the collision rate increased substantially, which was costing the company its profit due to the number of collisions and payout. Something had to be done to prevent and decrease the number of incidents and accidents that took place. The safety department for First Student began to plan and implement different strategies that would help prevent the collision rate. This target audience was the school bus drivers. Changing drivers' mindset to develop an innovative structural divert from the need of management. Managers have different controlling methods when implementing innovative changes. Old methods will soon gradually be extinguished because of the new technologies or new methods. Old standard performance. The old standard performance for First Student was drivers had to maintain a 3 to 4 second following distance, which over time increased accidents and collisions rate. Yielding the right of way to oncoming traffic, and drivers were systematically trained to use this system. Drivers would approach intersections without slowing down or even stopping at stop signs. Standards were defined clearly, and drivers implemented each standard from First Student. Accidents occurred, costs escalated, payouts were high. Managers communicated a plan for all drivers to enter into a training program to help decrease the collision rate. First Student needed to measure the driver's standard performance. Change is a vital importance for this company due to the fact their budget costs and financial statements showed the effects. When developing a structural controlling concept to achieve the objective of a corporate operation, the purpose is to develop intellectual potential employees. The resources of understanding will define the process. Basic approach In other words, because of training cycles, we can develop a clear and specific method of training in the different levels. New standards of performance, new standards of training that consist of decentralized networking or brainstorming will develop training plans that will define their goals. This would compare the company's activities from past techniques to new innovative systematic driving procedures. Smith system was introduced along with the 5 keys. Aim higher in steering. Get the big picture. Keep your eyes moving. Leave yourself an out and make sure they see you. Controlling training, overseeing the training, implementing, executing, and showing enthusiasm about our new standard of performance, which would include bonuses and other incentives that will be given out weekly. It is important to develop rules, guidelines, and procedures that would help direct the process of employees. What this means is by supervising your department or ensuring that drivers are well trained, behaviors and practices would be controlled by watching individuals' job performance. For student drivers are considered to be an elite team that is highly trained and serve the community in which they live in. While driving children to and from school, these drivers show dedication at the ultimate service level. Measure accurate performance. Open book management. This report will generate on a daily basis and weekly the number of collisions and injuries, if any occurs, the number of children sleeping on the bus from year to year locally. This is another way to ensure that employees or drivers are part of the open book management. The employee will be able to see on a daily basis the diminishing accidents or incidents that take place due to the new safety culture. Controlling for quality. One of the quality control methods is managers must focus on their interchanges of employees' habits in order to be effective. Goal setting techniques would ensure the commitment of our employees. Two hypotheses: patterns of employees' behaviors are not aligned with formal policies. Number two, employees behave better in organizations with high quality climates and transformational in leadership. Compare performance to standards. One way of comparing performance is to understand the problem. Once that is achieved, each manager should compare the collision rate from the beginning of the school year to the present, weekly, or quarterly. Keep a presence of accountability walkthroughs so employees can see you. Investigate drivers' backgrounds. Follow best practices, ensure drivers' behaviors, and reinforce safety standards. Take corrective action if needed. Micromanagement of any employee would make the person feel inadequate and sometimes even give up. During the process, if a company sees the breakdown in the systematic methods, then correct it immediately. Somewhere in the process or the procedure, this may occur. If so, managers reevaluate, then start the process up again. Budgetary control. The state's largest school district has a contingency plan that will leave teaching and other positions open to satisfy the help cover $7.7 million shortfall due to state funding shortage. Payroll, accounting, transportation, purchasing, food service, custodian, and maintenance will lose out in this area. School bus transportation will soon be a thing of the past due to lack of funding. School districts are trying to develop a plan to continue the contract as well as other students' interests. Budget control for this company consists on the setting of targets for organizational expenditures. If collisions continue, these expenses distributions will hurt their profitability. Financial statements. Per student financial statement will show this is the largest provider for all student transportation in North America. With a $24 billion marketplace, outsourcers of 37%, operational fleets of 49,000 school buses, and the company develops 1,300 contracts different years for 500 locations. First Student has a strong working relationship with the public and school districts. First Student financial chart. For 2015, they're right about $49 million. First Student set strategy goals, and in doing so, they retrain all drivers involved in collisions or incidences. To ensure the current drivers will remain sharp, the company implemented monthly safety meetings. The old standard of performance was get them out there in training, get them through training, get them out, and put them on the road. After many collisions and damages to properties, the management team communicated and came up with a plan to strengthen their core value with new innovative standards. To measure their performance, the team uses the open book management process, where all employees can participate and be rewarded according to the performance and standards. Thank you.